Hi everyone and welcome back to Saturn's Secrets. Today we're discussing the total lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This is happening on the 16th of May. It is happening at 4:12 a.m. in the morning GMT. So this is a total lunar eclipse, meaning that the significance of this eclipse is particularly extreme. This is quite an extreme energy because it is in the sign of Scorpio. There's a lot of fixed energy in the sky. This has a square to Saturn in Aquarius. So this total lunar eclipse is particularly linked to the past. Now the reason for this is because it is a south node eclipse. It is sitting with the south node in Scorpio, and also because we're experiencing a Mercury retrograde at this time as well. So when we think about the nodes, we think about karma, we think about destiny. With this total lunar eclipse, there is a door open to the past. This might be people from the past, this might be events from the past, this may be a series of events and they're coming to your attention. So this can be a wonderful thing because it can link you back with people that are meant to be part of your destiny going forward. It can also be a time when you get the closure you need and formally close a door. There could be a lot of endings happening around this time if this is impacting your chart. So if you have anything in the late 20s of Scorpio or Taurus, or you have a birthday around this eclipse, or you have a birthday around the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th of November, there can be very significant shifts and changes for you around this time. So while there is this sense with Scorpio that yes, it is the sign associated with death and endings and letting go, it is also the sign associated with regeneration. We think of the phoenix, and no sign transforms quite like a Scorpio. So there can be, and it will be different for everybody, there can be closure happening for you in your life. There could be something that is ending, or there could be something that is being regenerated. It really depends what is meant for you, because the nodes and eclipses have this way of taking your fate and your destiny into their own hands and accelerating things. This one particularly reminds me so much of the three fates in the underworld in Hercules. You know, when they had this string and they had the scissors and they all shared this like a one ugly eye that kept falling out. It reminds me a lot of that. It reminds me that some things are just not meant to be, and some things, if they're meant to return, like Hercules getting out of the big pool of the dead and saving Meg's life, some things will. It just reminds me so much of that. It's just some things are meant to be and some things will return. It's funny how I think for a lot of people this could symbolize a real open door to people they've maybe not spoken to in years. You know, maybe even since the last series of Scorpio Taurus eclipses. It just seems to be that there could be for a lot of people this regeneration, and there could be for a lot of people this complete ending. So the past may come up for transformation or closure. The thing that is tense about this in particular is the square to Saturn that is very exact. So if you do have placements at around, I want to say 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 degrees of the fixed signs, I should have just said 21 to 25 degrees, but whatever, it may be that you're being hit with this quite hard. The square to Saturn is asking you, because it's the moon connecting with Saturn, it's asking you where you wear a mask emotionally that you may have learned from your parents. A lot of people, I think, will really suffer with this eclipse, emotionally speaking, where they are the type of people that wear this mask and they just shove everything down. Your dreams won't let you get away with this around this time. Experiences, confrontations may come up where you've been burying things. Because this is Scorpio, it's the underworld, things don't stay buried forever. It's kind of a big reveal of secrets as well with Scorpio. So where you have these psychological triggers or traumas, this might be a time when they come up for you to address them. And hopefully with the trines to the water sign energy, which I'll get to in a second, heal from them. So with Saturn here, you may be experiencing around this time a very tough lesson you've had to learn. You may also be realizing that you've not taken responsibility and that you're actually running away from growing up. That can be a real Saturnian theme. You have to grow up, you have to take responsibility in life at some point, no matter how bohemian you are, no matter how much you put value on freedom. There are times where responsibility is part of our experience, And if you've been running away from it in some regard, this may come up too. So one thing I will make you aware of around this time is that the square to Saturn can signal depression, it can signal anxiety, it can signal loneliness. So if you have any friends who are Scorpios, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, reach out, because they might really be finding it very hard around this time. That goes for moon and rising too, if you do know their placements. Similarly, if you're feeling this way, it might be good to be preemptive in self-care, healing, whatever it is that makes you feel grounded and secure. The water trines are what makes this kind of hopeful. So there's a trine with Mars and Neptune. And Mars is all about action and taking action and bravery. So this sort of gives you an opportunity to let your emotions flow, particularly with Neptune. You can embrace your own depth, you can have courage with Mars there to face your feelings, to take action on your feelings. And you may be dreaming of people who are dreaming of you. Like, you might be dreaming of people and having these really strong psychic connections where you're both having dreams about each other, and you might find yourself gravitating back into this person's life, or you may be finding you're dreaming of past events, and this is all to come up for you to deal with it. The healing energy between Scorpio and Pisces is that Scorpio itself is so rigid, and Taurus is so rigid where the sun is in this eclipse, that Pisces is a bit of a savior here. As always, Pisces is a bit of a savior. I can feel something's like rumbling around in the bushes. I think it's my cat. Pisces is a bit of a savior here, and Pisces is also the sign associated with forgiveness. So it might be around this time that you're realizing you can forgive someone from the past, or you can forgive yourself for something you've done, or you can forgive yourself a past experience, or you can forgive others. The forgiveness, where it's directed, it doesn't necessarily matter so much, is the point that with Mars, forgiveness takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery. Similarly, Mars and Pisces people might not think necessarily as brave. There's nothing braver than sharing what's going on with you, what you're feeling, what's in your heart. That's the reason why so many people wear masks, to hide them, is because people find it scary. And one of the things about this eclipse that is scary is that I think a lot of emotions are going to come to the fore, and a lot of people are going to have to share those with the Scorpio energy, because secrets just can't stay put around this time. If there's a secret that needs to come out, it's very likely going to come out. It's hard to avoid it around this time. But that can be the death or the phoenix moment that you actually need. So one of the other themes that I'm sort of seeing with this is that it is a bit of an exorcism. It is a bit of a purge. I mean, the sun is next to Algol. It is to do with your demons, the things that are hiding within you, that are controlling you, that are stopping you, that are preventing you from healthy connections, that are preventing you from opening up, from being vulnerable, from going after what it is that you want. So you may find you face your fears from the past. You might find that things trigger you. You might find that you thought you dealt with something, you actually haven't dealt with something. It pops up like a ghost and takes you by surprise, and you just wonder, why is this still haunting me? If something's still haunting you, it very well might come up at this time. But hey, you might think that sounds really depressing, that sounds really awful. Do you want it to keep driving you? Do you want a ghost driving your car? Especially one that's not passed its test. Do you want a ghost driving your car? That's not what you want. So if it comes up, it comes up. If it has to go, it has to go. If it has to be addressed, it has to be addressed. You can do it. You can, because there's Mars and Pisces. Mars is giving that bravery, and Neptune is giving that hope, albeit maybe it's a little bit confusing and a little bit uncertain. It's giving you that hope. You might want to let go of a lot of things you possess. So again, going into the possession territory, it doesn't just have to be being possessed by a ghost. You might be letting go of a lot of possessions, because this is Taurus Scorpio energy. They're the natural hoarders of the zodiac. Taurus usually hoards physically. Scorpio can hoard emotionally, especially with grudges. Release those if you can. You might be letting go of some items, things in your space that don't work for you anymore, especially if they're very, very old and stagnant and don't necessarily function with that square to Saturn the way that you need them to. So you might have to let go of some very old items or things that you possess, especially if you're Scorpio or Taurus rising. So whatever comes up from the underworld for you, be it a person from the past, be it an experience, be it a memory, be it an emotion, be it something you really thought you dealt with and you feel frustrated and angry that this is happening again or that this has happened again. The Pisces energy is the savior here. The forgiveness, the going with the flow, the letting go, the healing, the processing, all of this is something that is going to see you through. So I am going to get into the individual signs. The general consensus is what's your rising. I do, for whatever reason, I can't explain it quite the way I want it to. I do think that the sun resonates sometimes, and I think the moon resonates sometimes. I would also suggest watching your progressed rising sign. So if you don't know your progressed rising sign, look up progressed birth chart online, you'll find it out. I would suggest most importantly watching your ascendant sign, but also your rising sign in your progressed chart, because that can give you some insight as what is going on with you as well. So, you know, watch whatever takes your fancy, but I would suggest also including your progressed rising sign going forward. So let's get into the individual zodiac signs. Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising. So Aries, this eclipse is happening in your 8th house. So it may well be that there is an ending, a completion in something to do with your joint finances. It might be that you are letting go of a particular financial debt or financial goal. It might be that you are paying something off. It might also be that you are experiencing profound change in your intimate relationships. It might also be that you're letting go of some kind of fear. What I'm sort of seeing for you is that we have the 8 of Cups, we have the Healer of the Ages, and we also have the Bone Collector. And I thought this was so appropriate for you because the 8th house is to do with, you know, the Scorpio is a sign of death. It's also the sign of fossils, and I just feel like the Bone Collector, it's like, what have you been collecting over the years that you really need to release, that you really need to heal? You know, fears, resentments, angers. You might have to forgive yourself or someone from your past, something that actually still bothers you emotionally speaking, that you're carrying forward into your intimate relationships and also your finances. I feel for you that there really is something that you need to heal that's becoming incredibly clear. With the 8th house, sometimes it can be to do with fear of intimacy too. But there is also the opportunity here for you, Aries, of regeneration and renewal because it's the 8th house. So you might be having a phoenix moment with this. You might be realizing that you are, you know, ready to face a fear, ready to face something that has for a long time held you back. It might also be for a lot of you that you're severing a connection in your life with the 8 of Swords that you're just ready to leave behind. With the Bone Collector, sorry, I just find this card so funny because it's all about bones, but he just looks so happy. I do feel for a lot of you that there is something that may, you know, come around again to be healed, to be understood on a psychological and emotional level with you. I think for a lot of you, when you've been burying things for so long, with this eclipse they might be coming up. So for a lot of you there could be endings, there could be renewals, there could be regenerations. For a lot of you I feel like this is profoundly psychological. I think that this is something that you need to deal with on a psychological level. The challenge with this, with Saturn in the 11th house, is that it might be something holding you back from your long-term goals. For some of you, you might be letting go of a friendship. For some of you, you might realize that your friendships or your circles are actually holding you back and really stopping and preventing you from growing financially or in your relationships. So you might not be getting the best advice from people in your circle at this time, and you might need to be a bit more aware of who is your friend and who isn't. And that can be hard if it's long-term friendships. But the key here, as I say, with the Piscean energy for you is healing and forgiveness, and kind of going with the flow a little bit more on whatever this is that's coming up for you at this time. So I hope you have a safe eclipse, Aries, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Oops. Hi Taurus, welcome to your segment. The sun is starting to get in my eyes. I might put my glasses on, I don't know. Welcome to your segment for this eclipse. So Taurus, you're so in the spotlight here because the sun is in your sign, but this is putting a big onus on your relationships, particularly if you're married. Or in a long-term relationship. There's a big focus here. For some of you, you may be ending a long-term relationship or a marriage. It might also be entirely possible that there's a new phase in a long-term relationship that could be positive, okay? Because we have connections to the Piscean energy in your 11th house of wishes, goals. You and a partnership might be making plans for the future. But there is tension with your 10th house. So in terms of status, in terms of goals, in terms of reputation, I do think that you might be feeling kind of concerned about your purpose or concerned about your career in some way, or it might be holding you back in a relationship, in a marriage. There could be a real conflict between your partnerships, your relationships, and your work, or it could be that maybe you are not experiencing partnerships or long-term relationship renewal because you're so focused on your work and the responsibilities that lie there. But I do feel for a lot of you, I have to say, if you're single, I kind of think that you have someone from the past that may pop up. To be honest, for you I have the Six of Cups, I have the Temple Path, and I have the Rescue card, and this just makes me see the water under the bridge and this little chap up here with the telescope looking for this woman that he can't find. And the Six of Cups is about reconnections. Some of you may be reconnecting with an old lover or relationship around this time, and it might be something that's actually going to be a big part of your destiny, or you could be letting go of something from the past that is holding you back in relationships. Some of you might be getting closure, but I kind of feel for you like there's this one foot in the door of like, maybe this could work out again, or maybe we can renew this, or maybe we can work through this. Or if somebody appears again, you're sort of thinking, maybe I will give this a chance. It could be different for all of you, but I feel like there's a link to the past here. It could also be for some of you that you're quite simply connecting with a soulmate around this time with the Six of Cups and the Rescue card, and you're feeling very like you can, you know, if there's been tension in a relationship either, I feel like you're thinking you can save this, you can work this out. Or it might be making you realize that you've consistently been picking partners that you need to rescue, and you're kind of done with that. You want to save yourself. So Taurus, this is an interesting one for you, but I do feel with the with Mars going through your 11th house, I kind of feel like you might be really determined to reach a goal or a milestone with a relationship, or you might find that a friend is saying, I want to set you up with somebody, and that could be a big part of your destiny. I have known so many people set up by friends that have had the most wonderful experiences. So sometimes your friends know best. But that is what I have for you, Taurus. I hope you have a safe eclipse. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Gemini. This eclipse is happening in your sector of work, health, service, and self-improvement. So for a lot of you, Geminis, you could be leaving behind a job. You could be leaving behind the work that you do. You could be leaving behind a way of working with or dealing with your health, particularly your mental health, your well-being. You could be finding that you want to drastically change something to do with your health. You could also be receiving news around your health, so it's important to take a lot of care at this time. Take a lot of if you can take time off, take time off. If you can rest, recuperate, all that stuff. You could take a holiday. It could be a good time to just focus on your rest, your well-being. A lot of you could drastically change your diet at this time. You could suddenly become vegetarian or vegan or pescatarian, or if you've been one of those, you could give it all up in an instant for something different. Take care if you're doing exercise around this time, working out. Just don't push yourself too hard, or don't push yourself at all, really, in terms of exercise for the days around this eclipse if you can help it. There's challenging energy from Saturn in your 9th house, so it might be that in terms of your work, you're feeling like maybe you are lacking the education, or similarly, you could be feeling like you're too educated for the work that you're doing at the moment, which is why you want to leave it behind. You could be feeling like you're undervalued. You could be feeling like you're not learning enough. There could be a legal matter to do with your work that is troubling you, contracts, that sort of thing. The thing about this is that there's a lot of positive energy coming in with Mars in your 10th house. So I feel like whatever you're doing work-wise, there's a purpose or a goal here that you could work on that will feel more fulfilling. So it could be your mindset that is the most challenging part with Saturn in the mix here. It could be your mindset, the way that you're viewing it is preventing you from seeing, because with this eclipse connecting so well with Mars and Neptune in your 10th house, I do feel for you like you have some sort of goal or status that you could be pushing towards or being brave about or reaching for. So this might involve you to actually realize, Gemini, at this time, that if something's being removed in terms of a job, it's because you're meant for something bigger. As cliche as that is to say, I do get that impression for you. I feel like things might not be going as fast as you'd like them to with all the Taurus energy, because Taurus is your 12th house. You maybe feel quite stuck. We have the slow and steady card, we have the patience card, and we have the Hierophant. Okay, so with Saturn in your 9th house, your realizations in terms of belief, or maybe even in terms of manifestation, or in terms of legal matters or education, they're all slowed, right? They're all kind of stagnant. They're not moving that quick because Saturn's there. You're having to be very patient in terms of something paying off regarding your faith or your perspective. You're having to be patient in what you believe, and you have to keep the faith, and faith is going to continuously test you to see how patient you are with it. And I know that sounds frustrating. That's just the way it is with Saturn going through the 9th house. Sometimes you have to be very patient in terms of keeping the faith, believing in something working out in the long run, and you have to take a slow and steady approach to your work and your health at this time. Be patient with yourself and your body is something that I'm getting for you. I also feel like your belief system is changing slowly but surely. So if you're opening up to something in terms of your faith that is not, not something you're used to, this is a wonderful time to lean into that and just dip your toes in the water a little bit, because it might pay off, Gemini. So that's what I have for you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Cancer, welcome to your eclipse reading. So Cancer, this is happening in your sector of romance, children, fun and creativity. A lot of you could find out around this time that you're expecting a baba. A lot of you could actually be giving birth around this time. Some of you could be giving birth to a creative project, or there could be some sort of change coming in that area. It could be as well that a lot of you that have been dating somebody, you might realize that there's a lack of depth and you want to give it up in search of something else. So you could be ending a romantic dynamic around this time. There could also be significant news coming from a child in your life if you have children. You might also be realizing around this time that you have been either not having enough fun, or that you have been having too much fun and you need to focus a little bit more on your goals. There's healing energy coming in from your 9th house. So I feel like in terms of whatever this is, there's the potential for faith. There's the potential of seeing the bigger picture. There's the potential of seeing the reason behind the changes that are going on for you in your life. You could be finding that whatever reason, your education is coming in handy in how you see this, or your religious upbringing, or your religious perspectives or spiritual perspectives could be helping you around this time. There's challenging energy coming in with Saturn in your 8th, meaning that I think you, regardless of this, you still feel that fear, or you still feel that concern or that worry or that fear of letting something go, or that fear of connecting more deeply with something or someone. The question for everybody with this is really whether you lean into the fear with Saturn, which can be overcome by knowing the lesson behind it, or whether you lean into the faith with Neptune, which can bring a lot of healing and transcendence. So what I'm sort of getting for you with the 5 of Cups, the Angel of Balance, and the Wishing Well in reverse, I feel like for a lot of you, there has been something that you have shed tears over, or you felt very worried about or frustrated by, with the 3 Cups on the ground and the Wishing Well in reverse. I feel like maybe something didn't materialize the way that you wanted it to, or something maybe didn't work out the way that you hoped it would. The 5 of Cups, the premise of this is always that there's the 2 cups behind him that he just can't see because of his perspective. That ties in very nicely to the fact you've healing energy with your 9th house, which is to do with perspectives. So I kind of think for a lot of you, I just had the craziest deja vu That is so strange. I feel for a lot of you with the wishing well and the angel of balance, there is still something, you know, like I think for a lot of you, if you're ending something romantic around this time, it's worth knowing that there is still something for you with the Two of Cups. Or if something didn't work out the way that you wanted it to, maybe for a child or with a child or a creative project, there is still something, you know. There's a mystery to this because we see the pyramids in the background. There's a mystery to this, but it can work. Nobody quite understands how the pyramids work, but they do, like how they were built, but they were. And I always think there's some sort of spiritual or religious element to it that we can't quite understand, but just because we can't understand it doesn't mean it can't happen. For you, maybe if something hasn't worked out the way that you wanted it to, it's telling you it can still happen. You just have to have faith that it will. So that's what I have for you, Cancer. I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Leo. I've had to put on my glasses because the sun is in my eyes, and just as I started to do your reading, my cat has come over, which is just so Leo to me. The sun is blinding me and the cat has come to play. She has obviously been through the bush. I can tell to look at her. You've been through the bush. Okay, so let's continue. Leo, this is happening for you. This eclipse is happening in your 4th house of your home, your roots, your family, your parents. There's challenges coming in from your 7th house with Saturn there, and there is healing energy with your 8th house. Okay, so you might have to forgive somebody around this time. I'm not gonna lie. You might have to forgive a parent. You might have to forgive a situation that's happened with your home. You might have to forgive a partner or a previous partner. What I'm kind of saying for you with this, Leo, is that there's huge changes. So this can be that you're buying a house. It might be that there's some, if you're living with a partner, there might be some issues there, or getting a home with a partner, there could be issues there. Because of Saturn, there could be restrictions, there could be some sort of tension with this. But with the healing energy coming from the 8th house, you might be able to work this out financially with somebody. That could be the thing that you need to focus on, is the financial implications of this. If you are getting a home with someone around this time, this can play out in many different ways. For a lot of you, you could be realize that you could actually be moving out of a house with a partner, or you could be changing your living situation with a partnership in some way, for better, for worse. It could be that you are forgiving or letting go of something regarding a parent. So for a lot of you, I have noticed that parents have been a big theme for Leo, especially Leo rising, over the last couple of years. Some of you might have to grieve the loss of a parent, and I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying some of you might be dealing with that now, so we're clear. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. But some of you might have severed relationships with your parents, or you might have, you know, moved away from your family home and you might be feeling homesick, or you might be missing a parent that you lost. Doesn't matter when it happened, you might be missing them. And with the healing coming in from the 8th house, it can get you to the root of this psychologically. So it's a great time to work with a therapist, a psychologist, anybody that can really help you work through these things, because with Neptune and Mars there, I feel like you have the bravery to tackle what the deep psychology of this is, if it's to do with your parents. So I do feel like there could be tension surrounding a property matter with a key relationship in some regard in your life, like a partner or a marriage partner, something like this. You could be moving for sure. You could be selling up your property. You could be moving away from a particular style of living. Say you're moving from renting to owning, or you're, you know, selling a house and going back to renting, whatever it is. There's a big change here happening for you in terms of the home, in terms of the family. And it is for you, Leo, because it's so much fixed energy, it can feel challenging. But the thing about this is that we have that positive energy coming in from Pisces with your 8th house, meaning that you have the ability to transform, you have the ability to regenerate, you have the ability to embrace change. I do feel with the coming apart card, some of you may be severing a relationship in your life, or you might be going through a breakup or going through an ending, or dealing with grief. And I feel like with the Magician and the Mirror and the Knight of Pentacles, it's one of those things where you might have to take it day by day. You might just have to, you know, put one foot in front of the other and accept that that's the best that you can do with this. It's not a process you want to rush. I do feel with the Magician and the Mirror, you're having a lot of, in your relationships, in any capacity. I think you're having a lot of things reflected back at you. You know, there's a mirroring going on where maybe you're feeling a lot of fear, so your partner's feeling a lot of fear, and you're both kind of mirroring each other back and forward. And that is something that you might realize around this time, and by looking into it, you might actually be able to transform this. You might actually be able to figure this out in a way that can be more sustainable for your dynamic, you know, sort of cracking the code, cracking the psychology behind it, figuring out, might be learning your attachment style, might be realizing how your relationship with your parents affects your relationships now. And with the Piscean energy, it might help you go that little bit deeper. So that is what I have for you, Leo. I hope you have a beautiful eclipse, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey Virgo, welcome to your reading for the eclipse. As I said to Leo, I've had to put my sunglasses on, which is kind of Scorpio, I think, but it's because the sun is really in my eyes. So, this eclipse is happening in your sector of mental health, siblings, and communication. It forms a challenging aspect to your 6th house of work, of self-service, of self-improvement. And it is getting healing from your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, marriage, etc. So Virgo, this could be a big time for a sibling of yours in your life. It could be a big time for your own personal communication style. Some of you might be realizing that you have not spoken up the way you need to. Now you have to. You might actually be forced into speaking or taking a speaking role. You might be forced to express something. And you can take the power back and decide to take that first step. But I feel like a lot of you might have your hand forced a little bit in communicating something. This is an interesting time for you in terms of work, because I feel as though you might be selling yourself a little bit short or resisting self-improvement. You might be resisting working on an issue you have. You might be resisting on something. You might be resisting change in your workplace. You might feel like, I've invested a lot in this job. You might feel like, I've invested a lot in this company. And you might not want to realize that you could do a lot better. You might be realizing around this time, based on communication or a conversation with somebody else, that you are selling yourself short. It's interesting around this time. I think you're going to get a lot of insights and, help from your friends. I think that they're going to help you, or people in your community, I think are really going to help you in terms of work if you want to change something. I also feel with the healing energy coming in from your 7th house, there's potential here for you to hear from somebody you would like to start up a conversation, have a relationship with, or there's the potential here that you're talking about a relationship or engaging in more effective communication in your relationships, Virgo. So in terms of a romantic partnership, if you're in one that's a committed relationship, it might be that you finally discuss something that you really need to discuss, and it could very well be to do with your mental health. I think a lot of you are going to be gaining more awareness of your mental health at this time, and with the Scorpio energy, maybe work through something that is preventing you from having the job you want, or the health you want, or the body that you want, or whatever this is. I feel like you're becoming very aware of what you need to transmute and transform, Virgo, and your partnerships are well aspected here. So a friend might actually set you up with someone who's a really good fit and has good potential for long-term relationships, or you might be talking about something significant with a partner. So we have for you the Page of Pentacles, we have the Community card, and we have the Wizard of Awareness in reverse, which makes me feel like your friends can see something that you can't about yourself, or people around you can see something and they might express this to you. I feel like you... Hello, Mr. B. I feel like you need to be more aware of what you're capable of, or not sell yourself so short in terms of work. And if it is something to do with your health where you're feeling this challenge from, I feel like joining a network or a community of people that have been through something similar, or, reaching out to people that have had similar experiences, or just networking in general is going to help you get to where you want to go, and it's going to change your awareness of what it is that you're capable of, Virgo. Because I think for a lot of you, your mental health or your perspective might be holding you back a bit. And this is something that's being shifted around this time. So that's what I have for you, Virgo. I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Libra, welcome to your reading. So Libra, this is happening for you, this eclipse, in your sector of money, possessions, values and skills. There is a challenge from your 5th house and there is support from your 6th. Okay, so Libra, what I'm sort of seeing for you with this is that I think a lot of you might be spending a lot of money this year. I think a lot of you might be having to spend money, especially if it's on children, or your creativity, your art, your children in your life, or even dating. You might be feeling like you're investing so much money into these things and you're kind of, I think, wondering if this is paying off. I think maybe some of you are wondering, is this actually worth it? I'm spending money on this child or childcare or all this different stuff, maybe creativity. You're like, I'm investing so much in my art, is it really going to work? This eclipse is going to show you what your financial relationship is like, and you may be required to invest a lot of money in something this time and you just might not be so sure that it's paying off. So it's a great time to get to grips with your finances, balance your books. We have the 2 of Pentacles and protecting treasure, which means I think a lot of you might realize around this time that you want to rein it in with spending. You might be realizing where you're spending money that's not working for you, what you're investing your money in that's not working for you, and you might want to pull back a little bit financially. It is entirely possible you might have to pay for something quite big around this time, and I think with your money being so aspected here in the challenge from the 5th, I just think you're wondering, like, am I spending this from a place of love that I'm like getting back? Am I trying to buy love? Am I trying to buy favor from somebody else? Or it can just be that this is very costly. We've healing energy coming in from your 6th house. So I think with this, there's the potential that if you're concerned about something financially, your workplace might help, or you might just find that they have something available to you, especially if it's to do with childcare or your children. There might be something that you can avail of here with Mars in the 6th. You might be able to take action towards something that can help you out with your work. It might also be that you're finding going to the gym, working on your physical body, eating differently, and you're finding some sort of maybe self-improvement book or something that's really going to help you out financially. It's all going to lead back to helping out your financials, because this self-improvement you're doing is healing the Scorpio energy of your chart. The Scorpio energy of your chart is that 2nd house of money, possessions, and also self-worth. So don't be spending all your money to make other people love you. Don't be spending all your money to make other people like you. Focus on self-improvement. Focus on what you do in your day-to-day, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel healthy. Focus on that, because I am also seeing that the door to romance is open for you, which is interesting. So with this, there may be the potential, if you're in a relationship, for if you're dating somebody, there may be potential for you to show your worth in other ways, and that actually you're not so focused. Maybe you take back the focus of spending or trying to impress a person. It almost opens the door for you. Jupiter's in your 7th house, so it means the door to a fulfilling relationship is open for you this summer. So do bear that in mind. Just make sure you're not trying to impress other people with your spending money on romance or spending money on kids or anything like that. It's all about focusing on what makes you feel well, and that might be feel well financially. So just bear that in mind, Libra, around this time. Protect your treasure is this card, and that can be protecting your heart, that can be protecting your money. But that is what I have for you, Libra, so I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to the eclipse in your sign. Okay, Scorpio. So this is a moment for you that you will feel quite familiar with, in a sense, because you are the sign of rebirth, death and rebirth, regeneration, transformation, your phoenix moment, and you experience these moments many times in your life. If you are a Scorpio born around the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th of November, this is a huge change for you. You may be fully letting go of an identity that perhaps you have carried since 2002, or perhaps you've carried since 2013-14, and you maybe have been in this cycle that you're actually quite ready to change. It may also be that you are realizing that you no longer resonate with a lot of things that you possess, a lot of things that you own, a lot of maybe even relationships in your life. You want to let go of things that are no longer authentic to you, or just don't feel in your energy. Your energy's changing. Things will start to feel really out of place, really unfamiliar. That can be your hair style, that can be the clothes you wear, that can be your furniture, that can be anything, Scorpio. If you have something in your physical living space, your home included in that, that no longer resonates with you, I feel like you have this strong desire to change it. And I feel like you really are changing who you are. We actually have for you the World card. Ooh, big B. Just flew in front of my face. We have the World card. And this for you is a huge change. It's the last card in the tarot deck. It is to do with major change, completing a cycle, beginning something new, and really also being in the spotlight. With the challenges from the 4th house, you're being held back. And you're being held back potentially by your living situation. You're potentially being held back by your parents, your family, your viewpoint on family. Whatever this is, there's something about this that you are in a place of restriction. And you need to, you know, figure out, are you holding this identity? Are you holding this space, this perspective, or this situation? Are you holding it from a place of fear? Are you holding it from a place of fear of the unknown, fear of change, fear of responsibility with Saturn there? Maybe you're afraid of being a homeowner, maybe you're afraid of being a parent, maybe you're afraid of going out on your own 2 feet, whatever this is. There's fears there, and you're stepping into a new identity where this is all going to change. There's positive energy coming from your 5th house, which presents the opportunity for, you know, love. There's the opportunity for fun. There's the opportunity for creativity. For some of you, your identity may be changing because you are pregnant. You might be having a baby, and this can be something that maybe is being met by resistance with your family, or maybe being met by resistance by your living situation, or you can be creating something for yourself in your art and your creativity, and this can be something that maybe your family doesn't understand, or you know, you're trying to get away from the viewpoint of your parents on it. Like, they don't understand your creativity on this, but it's part of who you are going forward. That can have some sort of, you know, restriction from where you've been to where you're going. We have the appreciation card in the 9 of Pentacles. You have to appreciate this new identity. You have to, with the education card, educate yourself on who you're becoming, who you want to be. You're going to want to read books. You're going to want to enlighten your perspective. You're going to want to understand what this next chapter means for you. And the key to it is to appreciate where you've been, who you've become, what you like about yourself, with the World card here, believing in yourself, embracing that self-love, that independence. Scorpio, if you've been in a place where you're codependent, you might really feel like the rug has been pulled out from underneath you. But it is an important time to understand who you really are. And if you have been diminishing yourself, or you have been meshing yourself to the point where you don't exist anymore, or you don't know who you are anymore, I really feel like there's this like break here. You're breaking out, you know, you're completing a cycle and you're beginning a new cycle, and it's a very important cycle for you. It's a shedding of the skin, it's a phoenix moment, it's a regeneration, Scorpio, and it's important. I also feel like for a lot of you, for some reason, just based on the cards, you may be connecting with somebody that you used to study with, you went to school with, you went to university, college with. Watch out for that. That's interesting. I don't mean watch out for it as in be cautious. I just mean that might be happening for you. So that's what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope you have a beautiful eclipse, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to your eclipse reading. So Sagittarius, this is happening in your solitude zone, your zone of institutions, self-sabotage, healing. So this one's quite intense, I have to say. For you, you could be planning to spend a bit more time alone. I would think around this time taking some self-imposed time out, some time to reflect. You could be having very unusual dreams or sleep around this time and you need to lean into what your dreams are trying to tell you. They could be trying to tell you something very significant. They could be trying to help you heal. They could be trying to help you move on from something. This 12th house is also to do with loss. So this could be that you lost something before that you've not dealt with and you're dealing with that loss, or you're dealing with the repercussions of an ending that happened before. Or you might be finding around this time, for a select few of you, that you could be spending more time in a hospital or some kind of institution. Not to scare you, you could be there for many reasons. You could be there because you're a doctor. So don't worry about that, but you could be spending, you know, time in retreat, time healing at this point, Sagittarius. There's challenge from your 3rd house, so you could be finding you could be finding something out about a sibling or a neighbor, or you could be learning something. You know, it could be communicated to you, a secret that you didn't know. There could be a lot of secrets coming out around this time that can feel quite challenging or frustrating for you. You could be having car trouble, mysterious car trouble, that you don't understand why this is happening. You can't figure out what's wrong. We have healing though from your 4th house, which is to do with family, home and your roots. So I think for a lot of you, spending some time at home, spending time with your closest, your nearest and dearest, could be very healing for you at this time. I do see a challenge surrounding a short trip with that 3rd house issue. You know, with the hostilities and the movement card, I feel like there could be maybe some issues surrounding taking a trip, some issues surrounding a journey. There could just be some hostility with that 12th house, and that maybe some hidden enemies are revealed to you. The 12th house can do that. There can be a revealing of something. There can also be a complete ending of something, Sagittarius, that you possibly didn't see coming but sets you free. With the movement card and the Ace of Cups, I do feel like there's a new beginning linked very strongly to this. There's actually eclipses going on in the Ace of Cups. For a lot of you, I do think as well, movement in the Ace of Cups, I think a lot of you want to make a move on somebody. I think a lot of you might be interested in someone. If you're single, this could be someone that is in your past. This could be somebody from the past that you're interested in. You know, maybe not romantically, maybe friendship wise, or you want to reconnect with someone from the past. You want to reconnect with someone you used to know. You want to reach out to them. You want to see how they're doing. You want to track them down. You want to offer something to them, or it might be that someone from your past wants to offer something to you. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. Yeah, I feel like there's movement for you in your love life, and this is probably because Jupiter is in Aries. I think that a lot of you want to make a move on somebody, or someone wants to make a move on you. This could be quite fated. I feel for some of you it could be someone you used to know. Doesn't mean you have to have had a relationship with them, but you could have known them before. They could have blue eyes, actually. They could have very nice eyes. This is something I'm getting for you. It's just kind of coming up in your cards. It's really interesting. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope you have a beautiful eclipse, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Capricorn. I've been wearing my glasses, my sunglasses for the last few because the sun was out. It's sort of taken a moment. Now I might come back, but we'll see. So Capricorn, this eclipse for you, it's happening in your sector of friendships, your groups, your teams, and your long-term goals and aspirations. It's challenging your 2nd house, where your ruler Saturn is, meaning that this year financially could be a bit challenging for you. You could have a lot of things you need to save for, a lot of things you need to spend money on that are very serious or more important than, you know, frivolous spending or luxurious spending. But you've healing with your 3rd house, and your cards made so much sense with this. Okay, so Capricorn, this is in your friendship circle. Listen, you might be realizing you've outgrown a friendship circle or a team or a friendship in your life. There could be an ending there. There could be an ending to a friendship. It could also be that you're actually really more deeply connecting with a friend in your life, or your relationship with a friend is being transformed into something more significant for you, especially if you went to school with them. There could also be a return of a friendship you used to go to school with or study with or something like that with this energy. There could be a resurgence of that. But the thing about this is that, you know, your friendships are in the spotlight with this. There can be endings, there can be changes. It might also just simply be, Capricorn, that you need to be more there for a friend in your life, or you really feel like you need a friend to be more there for you. There's a big onus on friendships, and they're changing and they're shifting. And the healing energy with the Pisces, you know, Mars and Pisces, there's a big B here, Mars and Pisces, is that you need to communicate. You need to reach out to your friends, you need to talk about things, you need to talk about what's going on, healing, and you need to listen. We actually have the listening card here as well. So it might be that you need someone to hold an ear for you, to hold space for you, or you need to focus on communicating more in your friendships. Especially if you or a friend actually has a broken heart at the moment with the Nine of Wands. If you have a friend who is going through it, they're not doing as well as you think, and you really need to reach out to that person, because they're trying, but I don't think they're doing so good, and I think they might need you, is the way that this is kind of coming up to me. It might also be that you are really heartbroken for a friend or over the ending of a friendship, and you know, need someone to talk to about this. It might not even be to do with friendships. If you're struggling with something, you know, with this not Three of Swords, broken heart card, and the Nine of Wands, this always reminds me of the Three of Swords. If you're struggling with something and you really are finding it tough, you need to open up to people and let them listen to you and support you and care for you. You may find out around this time who your true friends are. But I think for you, Capricorn, this Elephant card with listening is just so healing. When we look at these two, you know, the key to working through this is with your third house communication, being actively communicative, being actively listening to others, but also expressing and talking is going to be the key to a lot of issues that you're having around this time, Capricorn. And if you're going through it for whatever reason, the elephant imagery kind of reminds me of the elephant idea, that sometimes obstacles are put in our path as blessings in disguise. Sometimes we have to reroute to get to the blessing, and it can feel frustrating, and it's not always easy to understand in the thick of it, but that's what I'm sort of getting for you. I also feel with so much, with Neptune and Mars in your third house of communication, and it being Pisces, the universe or someone departed is trying to communicate to you through a song or music. So pay attention to the lyrics or the songs that are really resonating with you at this time. That is what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope you have a beautiful eclipse, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi, Aquarius. So, Aquarius, this is happening, this eclipse, in your sector of purpose, your career, and your reputation, your status. You know, what your public image is. It's challenging Saturn in your first, and it is harmonizing with your second house. There's healing and energy going on there. So Aquarius, what I'm kind of getting for you with this is that there are big changes to your career. It often is, I have to say, it often is a time where we leave behind a particular profession or a job that is somewhat karmic. And this can be a good thing in the long run, but it's not always easy to see at the time. You might be leaving behind a particular career, you might be leaving behind a particular profession, a particular the word escapes me, industry. You might be deciding that you really want to change your public image. You could find a lot of Aquarius risings around this time are retiring, or they are changing industry completely. And it might be for you that this is simply that you want to change your public branding, who you show up as in the world, or you may also be wanting to change your vocation, your purpose, your goals that are not to do with your work, but are to do with your passions, or to do with your purpose in life. It may also be that you're discovering your purpose in life is something that could be entirely happening for you around this time, or there could be big changes towards what your purpose is. You could be becoming a mentor, or you could be ending a mentorship. And for you, Aquarius, I think the challenge here is how you identify with yourself. You know, with Saturn in your first house, it can sometimes make you more slow in progressing towards what you want, your goals. You're more careful about what your goals are. It can be that what you've realized about yourself, what you've learned about yourself, is feeling difficult because now you don't resonate with your career, or now you don't resonate with your branding, and it can feel very confusing, and you want to change things. How you change them is actually through self-worth and confidence, and how you value yourself, knowing your skills, knowing what you're good at with Mars there. knowing what it is that you can do that nobody else can do. So appreciating your talents, appreciating your particular set of skills. I sound like Liam Neeson in, what is that word? That movie Taken. I have a particular set of skills. Anyway, you have to understand that these are things that make you very special, and they're usually quite unique with Aquarian placements. So focusing on the things that you do well will show you what you want to do or change in your career. How you view yourself may not be... Having confidence in who you are may be tricky at this time, or even knowing what you want is tricky. So as I say, look to what it is that you're good at. It's a big clue for you. Your cards are interesting. I think owls and bees are spiritual symbols for you at the moment. We have the second chakra, which is Archangel Ariel. We have intention, which is number 22. And we have the 10 of Cups. I think for a lot of you, Aquarius, you have... you have a lot of potential if you just have the confidence. Like, if you just have the confidence to do something, what you set your mind to, and I don't know if it's this year, I don't know if it's next year, whatever it is, whatever you set your intention towards now, whatever you're hatching, whatever's changing, it's leading you to this 10 of Cups energy, especially with this second chakra. It's all to do with your personal power, your belief in yourself, your confidence, and with the intention card and the 10 of Cups, just embrace that confidence. With the bee card, I think a lot of you need to remember that we can't exist without the bees, and a lot of people feel that you're that important in their life, and it might not feel like it, and it can be that these are people that are coming in for you, but I do feel for a lot of you that there's something you're setting your mind to, or an intention that's going to lead to a lot of fulfillment, a lot of happiness. It might be career, it might be that you're intending to leave behind something. I do think for some of you watching this, I'm not entirely sure of my age metrics, but I think some of you are thinking of retiring, or are retiring, or are changing your career completely. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Pisces. So welcome to your eclipse reading. Pisces, this is happening in your sector of higher education, philosophy, religion, spirituality, travel, law, publishing. So a lot of you could be wrapping up a particular legal cycle or a legal endeavor. You could be wrapping it up. It's very important, it's very significant around this time. It might be changing, it might be ending. There might be details in this that you've missed that are frustrating to you, but you are learning something from it and putting yourself first, which is most important. That's for a select few of you. A lot of you could be wrapping up a particular degree or education. You could be wrapping up a phase in education. A lot of you could be leaving whatever course it is that you're doing or studying because you don't feel like it fits who you're becoming or who you are or who you want to be anymore. Some of you could be letting go of a particular spiritual viewpoint, a religious belief. You could be leaving it behind because it doesn't resonate with who you are anymore and it feels like it's harming your mental health. It might also be for a lot of you that you are traveling, or you are planning to travel, or you have some sort of significant trip around this time that you're kind of scared of, or you have a bit of hesitancy or fear. It's going to be good for you anyway. How this is kind of playing out for, I think, most Pisceans, especially Piscean rising, is that you are changing your view of the world. Your relationship with faith may be shaken. It might not be feeling so natural to you. You might be feeling like you're losing faith in something. You might be feeling particularly shaken by events, and this can be something that is quite scary for you, and you're feeling kind of lost with Saturn there in the 12th. You're maybe feeling a little bit like you want to turn the light on and you can't, or it might be that you're just not sure what you believe in anymore. You could feel let down by your belief system, or what you've chosen to study. The power here is with you. So the healing energy coming from this, there's an exact trine to Neptune. There is an exact square to Saturn in your 12th house. That's scary. That can be scary. Saturn going through the 12th house is scary. The key here is you. Mars is in your first house. Neptune's in your first house. You're your own hero here. You're the person that's going to save yourself. you're not relying on your belief system, you're not relying so much on the spiritual side, you're not relying so much on the stuff that usually is what sees you through. You're realizing that you have the power, you have the strength, you have the resolve to make choices for yourself. Instead of letting, you know, always going with the flow and letting things happen to you, you have a bit of power here. The challenge is that your fears are making you feel like you don't. You can lean into that Neptune energy where you are very self-assured and you have faith in yourself, you have belief in yourself. Neptune's your ruler. Or you can lean into that exact square to Saturn and say, I don't believe in anything anymore. If I have no faith, I have nothing. If I don't have this degree, I have nothing. If I don't have this book published, I have nothing. If I don't believe in this, I have nothing. If I'm not, you know, traveling the world, I have nothing. If I don't have this, if I don't have this thing, I don't have anything, you know? That's kind of the thing that I'm getting from this. But you're realizing that you do. You have you. You are the most important component in this. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you have that Mars in your first house, Neptune in your first house, that faith and belief in yourself, it's not about never believing in something again. It's not about not believing in God. It's not about not believing in the law of attraction, the universe, any of that stuff. It's just that sometimes we need to let go of that a bit to have a better relationship with ourselves. Especially if believing so much in something else is hurting your mental health. I think that's what this means for you. Again, it can be entirely literal. It can be that you're leaving a degree, or you're wrapping up a degree, you're graduating, anything like that. I know that the last time we had Scorpio eclipses, for me as a Pisces rising, I graduated from my law degree. The 9th house is also law, and also started a master's at that time. So it can be something like that for you. But I also know that with this time, there's discovery in what it is that you believe in, and knowing that sometimes, as a very spiritual sign, Pisces, you have to believe in yourself first. So your cards, now that I'm over that rant, your cards: 6 of Swords, the Man holding a coin, and Unexpected Visitors. I feel like somebody that you used to work with, or that you used to study with. So someone that you were linked to, not necessarily romantically, someone that you used to study with, go to uni with, or work with, wants you in the next chapter. And this is a surprise to you because we have Unexpected Visitors. Somebody is looking for you, Pisces, and you might discover who this is around the eclipse itself because of this full moon. Somebody's looking for you, and I think they used to work with you, or they used to go to university with you or study with you, because it's Man holding a coin. I think this is somebody trying to track you down. Now they might I feel like this is unexpected, but somebody's trying to track you down. I think for a lot of you, this could be for a job. This could be that you're actually being tracked down or headhunted for the next part of their career. It could be that they're romantically interested in you. It could be that they want to strike up a relationship with you, reconnect with you. It could also be that you have an unexpected gift coming in from overseas. Or it could be that somebody that lives far away from you, you're traveling to them, or you're traveling for work. You're traveling to see somebody to work on something, or you're traveling for work, or you have an opportunity to do these things, or you have an opportunity to travel or study abroad. And this is something you need to put a lot of thought into. But I do think because even there's a weird synchronicity here. So this adds up to 5, this adds up to 6, and this adds up to 7. 5, 6, 7. You might be seeing like number synchronicities of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 4, 5, 6. Mercury retrograde, leave me alone. But the reason I'm saying this for you, Pisces, is that we are in the middle of a Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is your 7th house ruler. I feel like somebody is searching for you, or like seeking you out, wants to connect. I feel like you might have worked with this person. I feel like you might have studied with this person. You might have traveled with this person. You might have traveled for this person. Or if it's not that, I feel like you are connecting with someone who's maybe overseas from you to work on something. Please let me know if that happens. So that is what I have for you, Pisces. I hope you have a beautiful eclipse. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.